Hi, my name is Octavia. I'm from Germany, and in this video I would like to take you on another journey towards the Saturn Jupiter Conjunction in December this year. I already did a video on the Age of Aquarius and the changes on the astral plane, so this is somehow another foundation video to that. I called it a Star of Bethlehem, and now the structure of the video. First, why this video? I got a lot of commentaries after I released the YouTube videos on where to find a constellation in the sky, and also I got questions via email. And while preparing the next videos, I thought, it's better to do another one, or the other will be too long to extend it. I already said a lot of stuff in the USA election video, because the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction is quite important for America. But in a more general view, I would like to broaden the view on some of the thesis and some of the energies that are currently at stake. So, one topic will be, what was the Star of Bethlehem? The next one, when was Jesus born? So we look into the sky of the time of the Star of Bethlehem, and I will then take you to the journey to the beginning of the Age of Aquarius, and show you another, thesis and hypothesis on when it may have begun already. And this video is also quite a bit of an extension to the other video on the astral body, mental body, and the shift in consciousness that is happening due to what you are learning in this video. For the impatient, I was asked to implement timestamps in the commentary. I checked and I think they work, so I will do so in this video, but you may miss the best if you're jumping. So maybe you have the time. So let's go and take the celestial journey. First, you may realize, or you may remember this graph from the other video. The Saturn-Jupiter conjunction draw a kind of triangle in the sky. So this is not the pyramid of the Illuminati, but this is the triangulation the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction or alignments are doing in the sky. They are forming meetings with each other in the same element for approximately 200 years. So they visit each earth sign, each fire sign, each air sign, and this whole journey takes about 800 years. Approximately every 20 years we have 1, 2, 3 alignments or conjunctions. The current one in December is only 1, so we do not have 3 conjunctions but 1. But we had a very difficult year, as you may remember. We are still in. So we had a Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto conjunction that was tripled. So Jupiter was meeting Pluto thrice. And therefore some stuff like this happens, and if they meet one time it has a certain energy impact, and if they meet thrice or 3 times it is also quite a different energy. So just to be aware, 21st December 2020, another video is coming for that event, but it will be only 1 alignment, 1 conjunction. 1980 we first jumped from the earth element to the air. So the whole cycle, for instance, like America is existing, was in the earth sign. but 1980 for the first time it jumped to air, 2000 it jumped back into Earth, but now for the first time since 2026 it's in Aquarius, and it will stay from now on in the air signs. We are starting to build an air trigon or triangle, and we have now the Aquarian triangle, and in 26 we will have the Gemini air triangle, and from then on the air triangle is complete, and we will have a 200-year cycle in air. By the time Jesus of Nazareth was born, this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction was threefold, and it was in Pisces, and therefore we call this age also the Piscean Age. And therefore I like to take you now to the sky as it may have looked at 7 before Christ, because as you may know, in the medieval times we had the Julian calendar that came from Julius Caesar and Pope Gregorius, or Gregor, I don't know how you spell it in English, needed to calibrate and recalculate the calendar because it was out of sync with the current energies and equinoxes and the I forgot the term. Solstices. Yeah, there it is. Solstices. Equinoxes and the solstices. So it was calculated in the 16th century. But here you have the sky at around 7 before Christ, because then the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction took place in Pisces. This is a calculation for the 29th of November, and on the 21st of December it was similar. So you have Jupiter, Saturn and the Moon. As you may see, this pink line is what we call the zero line of the ecliptic. But the ecliptic is not one line, but it is a broad band. So it can be that Jupiter, for instance, is here and Saturn is there, so they are quite wide apart. Therefore, you do not call it a conjunction. If you put it on a chart in a horoscope, it looks like as if they both are meeting each other, but sometimes in the sky it's one is up, the other is down, and so you do not see that they meet. But at 7 before Christ they were very close together, and when the moon came by it was really a bright event. So it must have really been quite a show in the sky. Calculating that, and that whoever calculated our calendary did not calculate age 0, and I spoke about this calendar thing in the other video, so if you want to know more, please check the video on the Aquarian Age astroplane. So by the time Jesus was born, all of this was happening in the sky, and some people thought about when to calculate his birth, and they came up with the 15th September, 7 before Christ, as you may see that he was not born of a virgin but born of Virgo, coming out of the constellation of Virgo. There is a saying in the Bible that his star was rising. His star may be the Jupiter-Saturn constellation, or conjunction was called a Great Conjunction or the King Conjunction, that a king was born at that time, or that it is that a king came to the throne at that time when Jupiter and Saturn met. So when his star was rising, when by the time maybe he was born in the evening, then the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction was rising at the ascendant. And when I was reading all of the articles around that, I thought maybe the triple conjunction, I mean, the conjunction is called the king's meeting or a king aspect. So what if it was not three wise men? In German we say quite often not only the three wise men or three magi, but we also say the three kings. So maybe the three kings were the three conjunctions, three alignments of these planets. So it's a bit of food to ponder upon. Maybe hard to digest, therefore I put the box up there. That you, whatever you are, whatever you are not agreeing with, please put it in the big imaginary box. I tell about this big imaginary box in the other video. It's a mental tool. If you're coming to stuff that you cannot agree with, then just throw it in the box. I'm not here to tell you that this is the truth, but just to give you another view on issues. And if you can deal with it, it's okay, and if not, please use this imaginary tool of the imaginary box and throw it in and say, what a nonsense she's talking, goodbye. So this is something for the big imaginary box. And if you want to know a bit more, I put links to the articles from Bernadette Brady and others in the comments section. Relating to this is also the question on when did the Aquarian Age start. You may remember what I said in the other video, that usually you say that on the time of the equinox, so when day and night have the same length on Earth, so when the axis is almost straight, where the sun is on that spot is what we call an age. It's also called the Platonian Age, because Plato was one of the first in Timaeus mentioning this huge cycle. So we call it the Platonic year. Aristotle also mentioned the astrology and the metaphysics, and he is referring to that it is quite mathematical speaking, because we have a goddess number. We have a relation to mathematics and numbers, and therefore if you are doing a chart, you are looking at the angle between planets, so the aspects it is called. So you say it's a trine or a sextile or a square. So you are measuring where they are in the sky, which is mathematical. So you are doing an interpretation due to mathematical reasons. But the whole stuff with the zodiac, the 12 signs, is from the Greeks, from the Greek. You can see it here. Here's Aries. Aries is quite a short constellation. It may not take 2,000 years for the sun to pass Aries. But Pisces is quite extended. And this is because this 12 constellation or 12 sign zodiac that we have now in the chart is not what we had in other times. The Babylonian, for instance, had 18. So in various times, various constellations were named or put in place to interpret what is going on. And in one of my German videos I was talking that Alice Bailey, for instance, for the sign of Virgo, said that it's just a fraction of what we once knew about it, because it in further times it was larger than it is now, and it was split into 3 sections, of which one is now Virgo, so it was quite larger in the sky at another time. So just to tell you that whatever we are seeing in the chart is not necessarily what it was all the time when all of this took meaning. So when people started to ponder on what is going on in the sky. So what you see here is the 21st of March, sorry it's German, 21st of March in the year 1 of the way we are now counting, so one after Christ was born. And you can see that the sun is in Pisces, and here's the ecliptic. So on the day of the equinox in the spring, 21st March, sun is in Pisces, and therefore we call it the Piscean Age. Just as I said, I did it in, I explained a bit more in the other video on the Aquarian Age. But what if things could be seen in a different way? And here I would like to take you to my astrology software that was developed by Bernadette Brady. You can see now the 21st of March in the year 2 for Rome, because it was at that time the navel of the Western world. You can see the sun is what we call Pisces, the constellation of Pisces, at 6 o'clock in the morning, shortly before the sunrise. And I will take you now on a journey where the step is 1 year. So I will, when the moment I press the play button, you will see how the sky is changing each year. So it's now running, and you can see the sun stays at almost the same spot. I mean, it's slowly moving through the ages. But if you look closer, I mean, we are now about almost 200 after Christ. You may see also another movement. Pisces is going down. This green line is the horizon. So if you're watching closely, you can see that Pisces is going down, Aries is going down. So we have something that is called in the myth that they are going down to the Hades or in the underworld. They are disappearing slowly. So it's not only that the sun is in the constellation, but also that the constellation in itself is moving. It is moving below the horizon, and it is no longer visible. And therefore, some people thought, what if it is not only this, but the heliacal rising, so the rising of a star or a constellation in combination with the sun. We are now at about 900, around 1,000, around 111, and you can see Pisces going down and down and down and down and down. I'm just stopping here, and we are moving back. And I prepared 2 views on the sky. This is where we started at around 2 after Christ, and this is around 1781. Just as that is the latitude of Rome. And you can see that Aquarius has now touched the horizon and is in fact the most visible constellation, because Aries has disappeared below the horizon. And Pisces is partly below the horizon, but Aquarius can be seen quite easily. So the sun at equinox is rising with the stars of Aquarius. And this is why Bernadette Brady just gave out the thought that one may consider that we are at least already partly in the age of Aquarius. 1781, 1783, Uranus was discovered. Uranus is the new ruler of Aquarius. So I choose this date to give you a bit of a reminder that it could be that we are partly already in the Aquarian Age. Now I go back to what I expressed in the other video. So this is ooh, there is a C missing. The C is important. It's a bit of an extension to the other video. I would recommend you watch the other video. Nevertheless, in short, the age of Pisces, according to Alice Bailey, is 6th ray. And the 6th ray planet rulers are Neptune and Mars. Neptune is more religion, Mars is more fight. So, history of the Piscean Age showed a lot of religion, a lot of religious wars, a lot of conquering, a lot of crusades, a lot of making heirs and succession. So wars of succession also. And most people that are born in the emotional in this time had an emotion body of the 6th ray. They were waiting for a Messiah, they were waiting for a guru, and they were waiting and able to fight, and fighting in itself was already one part to heaven, one door to heaven. So one could reach heaven through war or fight in the name of the right religion. According to Alice Bailey, the 6th ray is already withdrawing since the 16th or 17th century, around 1580 to 1620. It started withdrawing, and it is withdrawing quite fast. So this is, especially right now, no longer the foundation, even though most people still feel like that. But most people also feel that something is shifting and that they feel ungrounded. So that as if something is wrong with them or something is wrong with society, because things are shifting so much. So what if the 16th, 17th century was the starting of the Age of Aquarius, and it was a kind of bridge builder because it started the era of enlightenment? Uranus was discovered. New thoughts came in, thoughts of equality. America was founded on we the people are equal. France saw various revolutions in the name of liberty, fraternity, equality. And from the history of religious wars, we came to the history of inventions. We had the invention of the book press. We had the invention of electricity, of the phones, of the internet. All of a sudden, the world shifted with inventions and not with who was on the throne or not. And if you are following that thought and consider that, please see the other video, we are in the cusp of the incoming 4th ray, and most people will shift from the 6th ray to the 4th ray, or the 2nd. Within the next 200 years, the 6th ray will be the rare one, and most people will be on the 4th or on the 2nd. The 4th ray is harmony through conflict and the arts. So through arts and through love, wisdom, which is the 2nd ray, the cleavages, the struggles, the gaps between people or between issues are bridged. The 4th ray is the bridger ray. Through art, through creative expression. A new consciousness is born, not a Messiah. The Star of Bethlehem showed that Joshua, Jesus of Nazareth, was born, but this Saturn Jupiter conjunction is not the birth of a Messiah. The Messiah, or the new consciousness that is born, is the consciousness of equality as brought, and it is already in birth. So it is not a physical Messiah that is coming, even though some of the religion wait for that Messiah, but they are waiting for a physical incarnation. But it is said or interpreted that it is a consciousness that is born on earth. The consciousness that we are together equal on earth. The consciousness of a group relation, that we are really cooperating with each other for the welfare of the planet and the welfare of each other in equality. So the fourth ray is the rainbow bridge, the true rainbow bridge, because it shows all colors and all facets that are bridging between the feeling, the thinking, between the ages and the cleavages. The fourth ray is mostly Mercury and Moon, so Neptune and Mars change their expression. Neptune is changing from religion and devotion to more compassion, and Mars is changing from war and aggression to wise action, precise action. So we have the Age of Aquarius. In the Age of Aquarius, the most emotional body will be on the fourth ray with Mercury and Moon. So we are about to considering a new thinking, or the thinking process. We are talking about mental illnesses right now, more than we did in the Age of Pisces. And there is a tendency, especially in the esoteric community, as I may say, that you are looking for family pattern ancestors which relate to the moon, but also of the mind, of sensations, of feelings. You are doing a lot of people are preparing to do healing in this area, especially relating to family patterns. And I'm mentioning in the other video, it is especially Taurus and Scorpio axis that is active in this right now, and therefore the new moon, full moon in Taurus and Scorpio are important during a year. Nevertheless, this is just a rough sketch. Please see my video on the Aquarius, on Age of Aquarius and the astral plane. I now come to the summary, where you as an impatient may have jumped, but if you are only jumped to the summary, you may have missed the best part. For instance, how the sky looked when Jesus was born. So, summary. The forming Saturn Jupiter conjunction in December has similarities with the Star of Bethlehem due to the visibility of the planets in the sky and their position to each other. And it can be seen just shortly after sunset. It's just a small time window. But if you look to the western sky where the sun, or the southwestern sky where the sun was setting, you are able to watch the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. The most biblical description on the Star of Bethlehem could be interpreted differently, and therefore also the birth of Jesus could be calculated in a different way, so that the biblical description could fit. But this time, no Messiah is born. There will be no physical incarnation, as it is the consciousness of equality. In the Age of Aquarius, the Age of Aquarius might have seen another beginning than we think, than the sun in the constellation on the moment of the equinox, because what is a constellation may have varied during the ages. Due to the extended relation of Saturn-Jupiter, the cycle that takes 800 years, which is sometimes called an eon. Sometimes you hear that an eon is 2,000 years or 26,000 years. But if you're hearing that an eon is 800 years long, it refers to the Saturn-Jupiter cycle. So within 800 years, roughly, Saturn-Jupiter are visiting all elements in triangular fashion, forming triangles in the sky. Each triangle is lasting for about 200 years. And in the 200-year cycle in the Earth element, America was formed. America is quite dependent, or is interacting with the Saturn Jupiter cycle a lot. So please watch my US election video if you want to learn more about that. But nevertheless, there will be more information coming on the 21st of December 2020 conjunction, because there's much more to say than I did in the US election. There is an incoming new quality that is already forming, and that leads to challenges and changing of the emotional bodies, and it is escalating and enhancing in speed and energy quality and bringing a new intensity. And we in this year with the COVID situation experienced a lot of that. I explain more in the other video. So if you want to learn more about what I said already, please watch my video on the USA election, and maybe you want to see the next video coming. I hope you enjoyed the show. This is how I look. My name is Octavia. I live in Germany, and well, I hope you have a good time. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you next time. Bye.